Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Alex. I am a senior software engineering student here at Kennesaw State University. I'm also pursuing my minor in computer science. And today we're going to be talking about algorithmic thinking, what it means, how it applies in the real world, and how it relates to my good friend, Botley. Botley, you got anything to say to the people? Well, you heard it here first. Let's jump into this thing.
Botley and you thinking algorithmically. Let's begin. Now, before we get to our friend Botley, let's ask ourselves, what is programming? Programming has two main parts to it, algorithmic thinking and knowledge of the programming language. Some might even say learning the programming language is the easiest part, because knowing how to problem solve and apply critical thinking within the computer science and coding universe is no easy task. However, while using algorithms, we can break down problems step by step to work towards a solution. What is algorithmic thinking, you might ask? Algorithmic thinking is simply the use of step-by-step instructions in order to complete a specific task. Let's think about a recipe and baking a cake. When baking a cake, you can't just throw eggs, flour, and milk into a pan and expect the cake to bake itself. You need to follow a specific set of instructions in order to get that tasty cake that you desire. Thinking algorithmically is just as important in the coding world as it is in the real world. We need to think about what exactly we need to do before writing any code. We got to look at what problems we have, what solutions we must come up with, and everything in between. Thinking about each step makes potential problems known before we even get too far along. It helps give us a foundation for our computer program.
Jumping into the setup portion of this video, we're going to be talking about the different kind of materials you'll need for this activity. Now, when you're opening the Botley box up for the first time, you'll notice all sorts of different activity pieces and gizmos and gadgets you don't really need. All you need for this activity is the remote, the puzzle pieces, the Botley, and then the instructional cards right here. So, before you get started, it's very important to note that you're gonna need 5 AAA batteries, 2 that go into the remote, and 3 that go into the Botley. Oh, it's back here. And to open up the compartment with the batteries in it, you will need a Phillips screwdriver. Also, when it comes to the materials, this is optional, but I highly recommend that you get this. These are called melee mats. You can find them in the link below, and what you can do is draw on them with expo markers and erase anything. Create different courses for Botley to run through. Just make sure that it's wide enough for Botley to fit through it. If you can't find these and you can't get them, you can use large drafting paper to draw on those and make a course out of that, or find objects around the room and have Botley navigate through those. Before jumping into the activity on your own, let's talk about how Botley functions and how the remote works. So, of course, we need to turn Botley on, so you have to flip them upside down. And you can see here, Botley has 3 functions: line, code, and off. Make sure we flip it from off to code. We will be sending blocks of codes from the remote to Botley in order to make Botley move. To talk about the remote, we have this big green button here. We have these 4 directional buttons, and then we have these 4 on the bottom as well. Now, we don't really need to worry about the 4 buttons on the bottom, other than the one that's indicated by the trash can icon, which is the erase button. So it's really important that we hit that, because any code that we type in, it will erase it in there. And if you don't hit it, Botley is going to be moving all over the place, and you're going to be very confused, and it's never a good sign. So let's move Botley forward 2 spaces and just show you quickly how that would work. So we're going to hit forward 2 times. So 1, 2, and then follow that by the big green button. Now, the big green button is the input button, sending the input from the remote to Botley. So once we're ready for him to move, we're going to hit that green button, and you'll see Botley move forward 2 spaces. Now, again, we have to delete any input we have, or Botley will move forward 2 times before whatever we put in. So we're going to hit the erase button. We're going to move Botley backwards 2 spaces. So 1, 2, green button. And again, make sure we erase it. Now this time, let's go forward 2 spaces and turn right. So we would hit forward twice, 1, 2, and then hit the rotate right button and then input. Now, something you will notice is Botley does not move anywhere after turning. You have to make sure Botley moves forward a space. So I'm gonna set Botley back to the start, and I'm gonna try to go all the way around to where the cards are at. Now, it's very important too when doing this activity to lay the cards out, because when we're thinking algorithmically, sorry, let me pull the cards out. When we're thinking algorithmically, it's better that we list the steps out in advance. So let's see, if we want to make Botley do a full circle all the way to the orange square, we would need, oh, can you see this? We'd need the forward. It's hard for you to see, but I'm gonna lay it out on the side, just believe me here. We need move forward, forward, right one, let me get the right square. Now there's also something to note too about the cards is there's also some on the back. So forward, forward, right, we need to move Botley forward again. And then from there, I want the class to start trying and figuring it out on their own. I want you to just try to get Botley to go all the way around back to this square. Once you've completed this task, then it is time to move on to the melee mats and get started from there in your own obstacle course and have Botley navigating through that.